Hey, welcome back to my channel, Vast13. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Hey, welcome back to the channel, Vast13. So today's topic is going to be about the Captain America Brave New World movie. It recently came out on streaming service. I decided to check it out because I hadn't seen it from the theaters. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Spoilers are ahead, so if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. Come back and watch the video. If you're okay with being spoiled on certain things, you're welcome. So yeah, that's your warning. I'm gonna just get straight into it. I thought the movie was okay. They could have done a lot better. The things that I didn't really like was, all right, so they introduced a character named Ruth. She was kind of like a carbon copy of Black Widow. We already have Black Widow and her sister, and the fact that they made like a third one, it just was really boring. When I looked into that character, actually her character is supposed to be a completely different person named Sabra, and she actually has superpowers and has a pretty interesting backstory. I felt like the reason that Marvel was too scared to go into her character is because she's actually an Israeli superheroine, a female superhero, and her backstory has to do with the issues between Israel and Palestine, and I guess with the whole current world situation, they were probably too scared to introduce a character like that. And to be honest with you, if you weren't going to do the character right, you shouldn't have done it at all. And that's kind of what happened with this. Is just she nothing against the actress. She the acting was good. I just think that her backstory was very boring. Like I said, we don't need a third Black Widow. We already have the other two. So yeah, it was a bad idea. The other thing too, her stature. Not to be disrespectful, but she was just so tiny, and it was so weird seeing her fighting against these big dudes. I just felt like if at any point these dudes could have just went like, just flung her, and she would have went flying. But it's a fantasy world, so it is what it is. Like I said, if they would have done her character right, at least it would have made sense with her beating up these guys, because she has super strength. But it is what it is. The other thing I wasn't the biggest fan of was the villains. In this movie, the main villain was the Leader. The Leader is a Hulk villain, and that's who he mostly goes after, but he's never been a physical type enemy. He's always been, uses intellect to be able to take out the Hulk. So I was fine with how they were using him. I just didn't like that he was the overall main enemy. I felt like he needed somebody to be on his side that could have bring some of that power, make the movie feel like a more dire situation. And I didn't feel that in this movie. I felt like this whole movie could have been in Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2, because it was that lackluster. They needed to have like somebody like how Michael B. Jordan played Killmonger. They needed a character like that, somebody to bring in that kind of force. I mean, they had the bit of fighting with the character named Sidewinder. He was okay. The acting was good, but he's not at those levels. There's like so many rogues in Captain America's comic books that they could have used, and the fact that they just introduced this, it was very bland. The other thing I wasn't the biggest fan is the look of the Leader. His look was very off. He just looks like some guy that got beat down, got lumped up, and they spray painted him green. In the comic books, he has like a very big head, because his intelligence is so big that he needs space for such a big brain. So I get it. It'd probably be a little difficult to make that look great in CGI, but they could have done something better than what we got. It looked like he got beat down and he's still swollen, and they spray painted him green. But But yeah, again, I know that they take liberties with these movies, these live action movies, but again, if you're not gonna do it right, they shouldn't have done it at all. Um, Anthony Mackie, he does a great job. I love him as Sam Wilson, but not the biggest fan of Sam Wilson as the Winter. Oh, sorry, not the Sam Wilson as Captain America. I felt again that this could have been done in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. They could have gave it a season 2, and in it they could have panned it out. You know, given Sam some time as Captain America, and then eventually I would hope he would give up the shield. Like either they bring back Chris Evans as Captain America, or he passes the shield on to somebody else, like maybe Bucky. Because in case you know, for people out there that don't know, in the comic books, during the whole Civil War situation, Captain America dies in the comics. In the movie that didn't happen, but he loses his title as Captain America, and Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, takes up the mantle as Captain America. So, and that was way before Sam Wilson became Captain America. So I felt like they should have done that. Either maybe make him Captain America for a bit, or if not, like I said, keep Chris Evans, or with this whole multiverse situation, you know, bring in a new guy to be the new Captain America. Because Sam Wilson as Cap is not doing it for me. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of it. And the movie has to do a lot with that. You know, I guess it's a little bit of a racial undertone, like, oh, like, you know, people are not happy seeing a black man as Captain America, and I don't think like that. I feel like if you are that kind of person, you go get help. That's not how I view things. I view it more as there's so many amazing characters with African American descent that we shouldn't need to change up a very well-known character and make him the new this and the new that. It just feels like you're shoving that down people's throats, and that's usually it always leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. And I think it's going to continue to happen as long as Marvel keeps pushing this like woke agenda that they keep doing. It wasn't as bad in this movie compared to other movies like the Marvels. That movie, oof. Like this movie, like I said, it was okay. That movie, hot garbage. But as Ari Spears would say, it was very, very bad. But yeah, I feel like there's certain ways to make certain characters happen, and you can give them different ethnic backgrounds. Like take Miles Morales, for example, right? This is a black and Hispanic Spider-Man, done very well, so well that people love his character and can't wait to see him in the MCU. See, so it's not like, you know, it's not people, you don't hear people saying, oh man, we have him as a Spider-Man. Like we don't have people getting upset about it. But with Sam Wilson, it's different. It's like, oh, we have him as a Captain America. I don't think it has to do much to do with racial undertones. It just has to do more about that it's, you know, he doesn't do it. Like, you know, he's not Steve Rogers. He doesn't pull it off. And like I said, they could have done this in a season 2 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, giving him some time as Captain America, and then have him give up the shield. And I feel like they should do that at some point in the future, because if they continue, it's just gonna be these movies are just gonna be very bad. I mean, I guess the only way that he could stay as the Captain America is if they stop making Cap movies and they just have him do cameos in others. Like, you know, if he shows up in other movies, I think it would work. But him as a solo character having his own movie is no good. The thing I did love, Red Hulk. Red Hulk looked awesome. The fight scene with Red Hulk was great. I mean, it could have been better, but you know, I was happy with what we got. I think where they messed up with the Red Hulk is that they made it very obvious. We saw it in the trailers. They could have kept it secret, like give nobody any hint at all as that that Red Hulk was in the movie. And when he would have showed up, it would have been such a huge surprise that it could have made the movie a lot better. Maybe actually even get rid of the leader in the movie, because I think the fact that they introduced the leader, it kind of hinted, okay, so if the leader's in the movie, then most likely we're gonna get another Gamma person, and eventually we did, which was the Red Hulk. So I think if they could have had just even had it a completely different villain, which again, the whole villain thing was boring. So if they would have done that, it could have made the movie rank much higher for me. Like, because in general, I'll just let you know what I thought. It was as I said, it was okay. I would give it a 6 out of 10. And again, that's being generous. If they would have kept it a secret, the whole you know, if they would have changed up the villain, and even if they kept the leader and they would have kept it a secret about Red Hulk, it could have made it at least a 7. But because it was so obvious and everybody already knew, it's a 6. And again, that's just being generous. It's not the worst movie. As I mentioned earlier, we heard one of the worst ones, but it's definitely not the best. The other thing that I wasn't really too happy with was there was a scene in the movie where Cap goes to the hideout where the leader was at, and he finds these pills. He didn't know what these pills were for, so he meets up with a soldier buddy. He gives the pills to the soldier buddy. He's like, "Hey, do you know what these are?" He says, "I don't know, but I got a friend that could find out." So he gives it to his friend. His friend gives him a call, and he tells him, "Oh, these are pills that will boost gamma radiation into your bloodstream." And he's like, "Oh my God, I gotta let Cap know." So he hangs up. He's about to call Captain America, let him know what's happening. And the leader shows up and kills the guy. And you're thinking, hey, like, damn, he killed him. So I guess he doesn't want Cap to know that, you know, that the president's gonna become a Hulk. And you would think that, right? Because hey, the leader went out of his way to kill this guy. And we just come to find out that there was no point in that, because then you fast forward and the leader meets up with Captain America and literally pretty much tells him that the president is going to become a monster, a Hulk. So to me, it made no sense for leader to go kill this guy just for him to go tell Captain America. Like, they could have cut that whole scene out and it still would have been fine. Like, it would have still played out the exact same. It made no sense. It was just like, again, they didn't know what they were doing. They just added scenes just to kill time. And because of that, and because I felt like this whole movie could have just been done in, like I said, a second season of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it brings it way down to me. I felt like this movie was just like trying to push a story and maybe introduce a couple of characters, and try to push the overall MCU forward, but not even by much. It's like they took a baby step, because and honestly a huge step backwards when it comes to how we view the MCU. It could have just been done way better. But again, yeah, give it a 6 out of 10. So yeah, those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think. You know, like I said, like I always say, like, comment, subscribe. Again, share in the comments what you think. Let me know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. But yeah, peace.